Howdy friends and family, thank you so much for joining me. This is day 28 in the series I'm doing called In the Midst, and we are in part 4 looking at love from the definition we get from 1 Corinthians 13. And last time we looked at how love believes all things. This time we are looking at how love hopes all things. And the first thing we want to realize about this phrase is that hope is a verb. The Greek word here is elpiso, which is in a religious sense, meaning to wait for salvation with joy and full confidence. So when it says here that love hopes all things, it is saying that love has full confidence in the salvation that is coming. So they wait with joy for that eternal salvation. And if you remember, joy is the awareness of God's grace and favor. So when we wait with joy, we are waiting with this awareness of what Jesus has done for us. So when we hope in all things, we hope in all situations, it is this idea of being chock full of this understanding of what Jesus has done and what he has promised for us, and having full confidence in that promise. Now, to better understand this salvation that we are waiting for, we're going to take a look at Romans 8, verses 20 through 25, which says, "For the creation was subjected to futility, not willingly, but because of him who subjected it, in the hope that the creation itself will also be set free from the bondage to decay into the glorious freedom of God's children. For we know that the whole creation has been groaning together with labor pains until now. Not only that, but we ourselves who have the Spirit as the first fruits, we also groan within ourselves, eagerly waiting for adoption, the redemption of our bodies. Now in this hope we were saved, but hope that is seen is not hope, because who hopes for what he sees? Now if we hope for what we do not see, we eagerly wait for it with patience." This passage starts out by saying that we are still suffering. We are subjected to this futility, which is talking about the weakness, the frustration, the lack of goodness that we experience because we are living in a sinful world. And it's happening, this futility is happening because of sin. When Adam and Eve sinned, we were subjected to this suffering. And so God didn't want to leave it there, though, because he loves us. And so he didn't want us to be suffering. And so he sent his son, Jesus, to end our suffering. But the thing is that not everyone believes in Jesus right now, which means those who don't believe will not receive salvation. So if God were to come back right now and start the new heaven and the new earth, there would be a lot of people who had not yet heard of Jesus and thus didn't believe in him. And so before God gives us this eternal salvation that we are waiting for, he is waiting that everyone might have the chance to hear about it, to hear the good news, and have the chance to believe. So he isn't abandoning us, though. He gives us a current salvation. It is a salvation that we experience right now. And that is that when we believe in Jesus, we are no longer chained to sin. We are no longer chained to the law. We are set free, and we are able to live a life that we choose. And as Christians, we desire to follow God. So we are set free to live a life following God. And this freedom that we receive also gives us this intimate relationship with God. And that is what it is talking about in verse 23 when it says we receive the Spirit as the first fruits. The first fruits is the very beginning, the very initial part. So this is just, we have received the Spirit as almost like a taste of the salvation that is to come. And so right now, that is the salvation we are experiencing right now. That we are freed from sin and from the law to follow God and receive the Holy Spirit. But we know that there is going to be a future salvation as well, a salvation that is still coming, the one that we are waiting for and hoping for. And this salvation is the freedom from all pain and all suffering and all sin and everything for all of eternity. This is the salvation that we will receive and experience when we get to heaven and live forever with Jesus. That is the salvation we hope for. We have the salvation right now that we can follow Jesus and have the Holy Spirit, but we wait and we hope for this salvation that is coming. And we have full confidence in it. That is what it means to hope for it. We have full confidence that God is going to keep this promise. And so we can walk into all situations with hope, knowing that He will keep this promise. So this week, I call you to have hope in all things, because God will keep this promise. He will bring you that eternal salvation, and wait with joy, knowing that it will come. If you're looking for a verse to memorize, 1 John 3:18 is what we're working on. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.